Now, as South Africa commemorates 20 years of the Constitution, this week the country hosts the 4th Conference of Constitutional Jurisdictions of Africa. It's quite complicated, isn't it? Well, let me tell you about this gathering. It takes place this week in Cape Town, and it's meant to ensure that the judiciary in each member state upholds the Constitution and the rule of law. Well, joining us from our parliamentary studios, we have got CCJA, who, of course, is the judge at the Constitutional Court. She's going to discuss the issue and how our own Constitutional Court has assisted to uphold our precious Constitution over the years. Judge, so good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
I greet all your viewers who are watching this program.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Now, when we talk about the Conference of the Constitutions of Africa, what are we referring to? What's actually going to be taking place?
Yes. Well, the Conference of Constitutional Jurisdiction in Africa is commonly known as the CCJA. It is an independent organization that was established with a view of bringing together African constitutional courts or their equivalent status. It was established in 2011 pursuant to a decision by the Assembly of the African Union to bring together an African framework for constitutional justice. It's a very big organization. Out of 54 countries in Africa, we have about 35 member countries who are members of the CCJA. That translates to 65% of all countries in Africa who are part of this organization.
Yeah.
So it's a very important and influential organization.
It certainly would be, and I imagine it's something that the continent desperately needs. But sorry to interrupt you, but what I just want to talk about some of the human rights issues that we find in the African continent. And I mean, we find that there are a lot of stories of abuse and atrocities that are committed by heads of state. How are your counterparts doing in other parts of the continent to uphold constitutions and look after the individuals of their countries?
Well, I think the idea of having this the idea of having a body like the CCJA is to have certain objectives that it must meet with a view of trying to advance and enhance the human rights situation in Africa. I can just, relay to you what their objectives are. In a nutshell, these objectives of the CCJA are set out in Article 3 of their constitutive statute as being the following. They are there to bring together in a common framework African jurisdictions responsible for ensuring compliance with the Constitution. They promote constitutional justice through dialogue and consultation, promote solidarity and mutual aid among its members, promote the sharing of experiences and information in constitutional jurisprudence, establish links with the legal community, in particular the academia, develop relations of exchange and cooperation between the conference and similar organizations throughout the world, and offer the contribution of Africa at an international level. The overarching objective of the CCJA is to support and strengthen the judiciary in order to be able to serve and be effective in its adjudication of human rites.
We know we know that our Chief Justice, our Deputy Chief Justice, I beg your pardon, the Chief Justice Mogoeng is the Deputy President of the Constitutional Jurisdictions of Africa. That is
right, Leanne.
But the question is, how does this body ensure accountability to the other counterparts?
Well, constitutions in Africa differ from country to country. And I think most of these countries have now adopted the constitution where accountability is a priority. But obviously, I think each country's constitution is different, in particular to ours. In our constitution, every sphere of government is accountable for its action.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that in other jurisdictions as well that have now taken the lead in being constitutional democracies, the same happens. Coincidentally, Chief Justice Mogoeng is one of the vice presidents of the CCJA, and he's very passionate about making sure that there is independence, there is judicial independence in the courts in Africa, and that this independence is supported by the rule of law.
Yeah. In terms of membership, are all African countries a part of this, or are there some that have decided that they do not want to be a part of the CCJA?
Yes. We have 54 countries in Africa, and countries who are members of the CCJ are a whopping 35. That translates into being 65%. So even though not the whole of Africa is still, even if the whole of Africa, even if other members of Africa are not yet members of the CCJA, we have nevertheless a very sizable number of countries who are part of the CCJA.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
they constitute about 65%.
All right.
But countries like Lesotho, Botswana, Zambia, for instance, are not yet part of the CCJA.
Yeah.
But apart from the members who are about 35, we also have regional bodies of entities such as the Venice Commission, the World Conference on Constitutional Justice, the Conference of the European Constitutional Courts, the Union of Arab Constitutional Council and Courts, the Conference of Constitutional Jurisdiction of the Portuguese-speaking countries, and the Association of Asian Constitutional Courts and Equivalent Institution being part of this CCJA.
All right.
They play an important role.
Judge, we'll have to leave it there for this morning, but good luck for this conference that'll be taking place. It's the 4th conference that's happening. That was Justice Cici Kempepe talking to us about this conference on constitutional jurisdictions of Africa. It's a gathering, as you've heard, of the African countries' judiciaries to talk about constitutional matters that are pertinent to African states. All right.